The next conditional statement that we have in Apex is called switch when statement. And this switch when statement is very similar to the switch case statements available in other programming languages. And what we do in a switch when statement is we compute on one single expression or on the value of one single variable, and then we anticipate the different values that particular expression or the variable can have, and based on these anticipated values we control the flow of our code. Just to give an example, this is how a switch when statement looks like. Here I'm checking on a variable called today, and this variable can have multiple values. It can be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or so on. Now we anticipate these values, like this particular variable can have these different values, and then we write our code block for each value that we anticipate, like the way we are doing in this example. So we are checking if it is Monday today, then we need to go to office. If it is Tuesday, then also we need to go to office. If it is Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, then also we need to go to office. But if it is Saturday, then we need to go to party. And if it is Sunday, then maybe we want to watch some movies or play some games. So these were the different values that today variable could have, and we have defined our code block for each and every value. In this example, we see multiple parentheses everywhere, right? And the first parenthesis that we see, it's after this switch statement, and then it closes in the end. So this is called switch block. Within a switch block, you can only have when statements. And these when statements can have a value that we want to match with our expression. So like the way we are matching if it is Monday today. So this is a value match that we are doing. And each when statement will have at least a value to match with the expression. All the when statements should have unique values. So you cannot write when Monday twice. So every time you need to compare it with a different value. And you can also compare your expression or variable with a null value. So if you write when null, that's an acceptable statement. And each and every when statement will have a when block. It starts with an open curly bracket and you can close it with a curly bracket. So this is called a when block. So you can write multiple statements within a when block. You can also declare your variables here. You can also call your methods or whatever the computation that you want to do within a when block. However, your switch statement or your switch block can only have the when statements. You cannot declare your variables or call other methods in a switch block. You can do those within a when block. You will understand it when I'll be giving a demo in our developer console. Now let's understand how an Apex compiler executes a switch when statement. In this example, let's say the value of today is Thursday. And when you run this code, your Apex compiler will start matching from the very first when statement. So first it will check if the value is Monday or not. It will find out that today is not Monday, so it will directly jump to the next when statement. And it's again going to compare the value. Today is not Tuesday as well, so it will move to the next comparison, and then it will check if today is Wednesday, which is again false. So then it will move to the next comparison. And here it will find out that today is Thursday and I have found out the correct when block. So it will execute this debug statement from this when block. And once it executes all the statement from a when block, it doesn't go any further. It doesn't go to compare the remaining of the values. So it will never go to when is Friday, when is Saturday, when it is Sunday. It will directly print the statement from the Thursday when block, and then it will be the end of this switch when statement execution. So here, if you have noticed in this switch when statement, from Monday to Friday, we are executing the same set of code block. We are always printing go to office in our debug logs. So we can combine these values in one single when statement. And this is how you can rewrite it, where you can combine your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with the help of a comma in one single when statement. So when your very first when statement will execute, it's going to compare the value of today against Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And if today is any of these values, then it's going to start executing the when block. If not, then it will jump to next comparison and it will check if it is Saturday or not. If not, then I have written a else statement. Similar to if else, your switch when statement can also accept else. So this means if none of the value was matched, then your else statement will execute. So if it's not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, then this else block will execute. And after that, this will be the end of your switch when statement execution. Now let's head back to our developer console and try it out. Do you remember our greetings example from the ternary operator where we can print a dynamic greeting based on the current hour of today? So if it is less than 12, then we used to print good morning. If it is past 12, then we print good afternoon. So let's modify that example and let's add one more greeting. So if it is past 12 but before 5 p.m., then we print good afternoon. And if it is after 5 p.m., then we print good evening. And this time we are going to do it with the help of the switch when statement. So first we need to check if the current hour is in between 0 to 12, then we need to print good morning. If current hour is in between 12 to 17, then we need to print good afternoon. Else we need to print good evening. So very easy conditions and a perfect example for our switch when statement. So first I'm going to declare a integer variable and I'm going to call it current hour. Then I'm going to write a switch when statement using this current hour as its expression, and then we are going to compare different values of this current hour. So we'll start our when statement by comparing if the current hour is less than 12. So we need to give all the possible values that are less than 12. So it can be 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 11. And for these values, we need to print good morning. Unfortunately, switch when statement doesn't support the condition inside the when statement. So you cannot write like current hour is less than 12. Then we need to compare if current hour is in between 12 to 17, then we need to print good afternoon. And if it is 17 or above, then we need to print good evening. So let's execute our code and see the output. We should get good morning in return because our current hour value is 11. Let's go back to the developer console and modify our current hour value to maybe 12. And then let's execute our code again. This time we should get good afternoon in our debug statement. This is working well, and the switch when statement can be very helpful when you need to compare one expression or variable with multiple values. However, if you want to operate on multiple variables or multiple expressions, like the way we did in our if else condition example, where we were first checking like is it sunny or not, then we were checking if it is raining or not, then we were also checking if you are working or not. So there were like multiple variables involved. So on these cases you need to use if else statement, but if you have one single expression or one single variable, then you can work with switch when statement. And don't forget about ternary operator as well, which can also work like a if else statement. So this is all about the conditional statements in Apex. From the next video, we will start learning loops in Apex.